Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. I gotta say, for the most part, this was actually a pretty good episode. It's gonna take me a hot minute to get used to Maxie being brunette, so there's that. Maxie is there to plan Willow's wedding, so she agrees. They talk about that for a little bit, and then they talk about the Chase situation. The thing to take away from this whole thing is that Maxie was 100% right. Brooklyn felt guilty for Chase hitting those two civilians. But Maxie was like, Brooklyn, you didn't tell him to do that. And that's the thing that pissed me off about Chase today. Chase is not there talking to Gregory, and Gregory's like, you need to sit there and give her a chance. You love her and stuff like that. And, he's all upset talking about, oh, well, she didn't sit there and write the letter to the committee so I can get my job back. And I'm like, bro, listen, here's the thing. She wouldn't actually have to write a letter if you didn't sit there and lose your ish over those two people, over those two civilians. So why are you sitting there blaming her for something that you caused? Like Maxie said, she didn't tell you to sit there and do that. And hell, even if she did and you did it, guess what? It's still your fault. On top of the fact that she did make amends, because this is something else that Chase is sitting there saying. Brooklyn's a sellout. Okay, well, Brooklyn, pretty much kind of violated the whole contract deal by outing Link because she couldn't sit there and take another person going through what she went through. So I'm like, bro, at some point, you gotta sit there and start giving her props. You gotta start giving her points. And you also gotta sit there and start taking some responsibility for your actions. Makes you sit there and think, bro, should you even be a cop at this point? He does want to go into the meeting because apparently it's today or Monday, and Brooklyn goes there as well because Brooklyn was not there wondering should she go, and Maxie was like, no, go there and support Chase. Which, to be honest, the dude's acting like a dick, and maybe it's a good idea that you just don't go. I mean, yes, Brooklyn has been selfish, but she's also been selfless as well. And going on the stand, going in front of all those people and outing Link, that's pretty damn selfless. And, Brooklyn's like, I didn't do it to score points to Chase. She did it because it was the right thing to do. Now, the scene, the whole boat scene, I found pretty interesting. Because Spencer puts a knife to Liesel's throat. And Victor just sits back, sips his tea, and is like, all right, bro, have at it. And Spencer's like, listen, if I take out Liesel, then there's no plan. Like you're screwed. But here's the thing. Victor calls his bluff. Victor's like, you know what, listen, I'll do it. And something happens to your brother, that's gonna be on you. I'm gonna do it anyway. My plan is gonna be fulfilled out of the way. It just depends if you're gonna be part of that plan with your brother. And of course Spencer realized that yeah, he really does not care. So, he folds. But the thing is, that wasn't really part of the plan. A part of the plan was a diversion. And it worked. Trina was able to go inside the radio. She made a noise or whatever, but they were so they were so concerned with Victor being, calling them that they just totally ignored whatever noises that they thought they heard and went to, be with Victor and see what was going on. So Trina's there and she's sitting there looking at all this stuff and she's like, yeah, I don't know what any of this means. But she's able to sit there and find like a satellite phone or whatever, and she calls Portia. Now, Laura's there, And throughout this entire time, Laura didn't sit there and think of telling Jordan, hey, you know what? There's a lot of strongholds that Victor would go to, when things get really bad. And one of the places that he mentioned was Venezuela. But throughout this entire conversation, she does not bother to sit there and bring that up to Jordan. Now, she does help Trina as far as the coordinates and stuff like that, and helping her read the map and stuff. So they would sit there and get some coordinates. And, you know, and again, I said this yesterday. I was like, at some point, this whole thing is going to bring Trina and Portia closer together. She's like, I need you and I love you and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's going to be, this whole icing her out thing is going to, come to a, like, they're going to mix up my words for some odd reason. You know what it is? I'm also used to actually having background music, and I'll tell people about that later on. But the point is, they're gonna start to rebuild their relationship. Also, it was a bit of an awkward scene with Curtis and Portia because Curtis is like, listen, I'll go there and find her myself. She's my daughter, and then she's like, well, she's your daughter. But I'm like, well, technically, if you are the father, she's both your daughters. You know. A lot of people sitting there asking about where's Taggart throughout this whole thing, and yes, technically, Taggart should be there. This has a lot to do with the actor and the Dollar Tree version, which I did get that from AJ, so I got to sit there and give credit where credit's due. But I'm like, technically, he should be there. Just like he should have been there for a lot of Trina's trial, but yeah. So she hangs up the phone. The guards are coming back, so she hangs up the phone and she puts the phone down, but she does take a walkie-talkie. Now, when the guards get back, they realize that the walkie-talkie is missing, and now they're on alert. Victor was like, "Bro, you're not gonna be eating. I'm gonna treat you as my prisoner." And Spencer was like, "And what was I before?" But he tells him he's not gonna be eating. And one of the guards takes like the strawberry and just eating in front of his face. That was hilarious. That was hilarious. Let's talk about Spencer. I mean, not Spencer. Sam and Alexis, and also Gregory. Gregory was sent there giving a lot of advice towards Chase as far as forgiving Brooklyn, but yet he had no room to forgive Alexis. And even Finn was like, "Listen, I'm not taking sides. I get that she's kind of extra, but given his experience, he's like, she's extra because it's important, whatever it is." Sam and Alexis were talking about Cody, bailing him out. And, Alexis like, well, she didn't have the attitude of, he's found guilty until, he's innocent till guilt, until whatever. And, even Sam was like, what happened until, guilty until innocence is proven? Well, not that, but you know what I'm talking about. They're like, what happened to he's innocent until they prove otherwise? And Alexis was like, well, I'm not a lawyer anymore. I was like, yeah, but you were like doting out lawyer advice. So again, what happened to that? They talk about that for a little bit with the whole Gladys situation. And then they talk about Gregory and how she's been just pretty extra. Now, she doesn't sit there and tell Sam what is really going on with him, just the fact that, he's pushing everyone out and, she really cares. And Sam is like, listen, I get it, but you need to sit there and hang back and let him come to you. When he's ready, he'll come to you. You don't need to sit there and be calling up the job and constantly hounding him and stuff like that, which he's been doing. And eventually, Gregory does actually come to the office to, after finally listening to Chase and Finn, comes to the office. it was an interesting scene when, Curtis was sitting there saying you want to help because, Jordan was sitting there talking to Laura about Anna and like, why she wasn't looped in and stuff and how well did that work out for them. And so they're going back and forth and eventually they talk about Victor. And, Curtis comes in, Curtis is like, I want to help. And Jordan's like, you need to sit there and stand down. And Curtis like, listen, if you don't let me help, there's other places I could sit there and go. And Jordan's like, oh, you mean like Sonny and Miss Wu? I'm like, yeah. I mean, seriously. He was the one that went to Miss Wu, and Miss Wu did help Trina out by, giving the location of Haggerty, I guess, or Taggerty, whatever the hell his name was. So, she was there to sit there and help, and if need be, he'll sit there and ask again. Now, my only thing is, bro, if you ask Miss Wu for another favor, whatever she asks for, you better just shut the F up and just do it. No questions asked. No questions asked. Point blank, period. I feel like that's about it. I can't really think of anything else that wound up happening. All in all, I would sit there and say it was a good episode. So, and I haven't actually been able to say that in a very long time. But I gotta sit there and give props where props is due. They did good today. So, that's all I can really think of. I can't really think of anything else. But as always, if I did miss anything, I will be going live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific for an hour. So if I missed anything, we'll sit there and talk about it during then, as well as all the other soaps that I'm covering, which is YNR, B&B, and Days of Our Lives. So come through. I want to thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.